Hello, my name is Melissa Hehman, and I am from Port Richey, Florida. In my podcast today, I will be discussing how distribution has evolved from the early days of film to modern day with areas like YouTube and iTunes that empowers filmmakers everywhere with the ability to tell their visual stories. Originally, Nickelodeons were used to present visual content to the general public. Audiences could pay a nickel and view various types of content ranging from motion pictures to slideshows and illustrated songs. However, Nickelodeon's popularity declined with the arrival of feature films and the invention of movie theaters. In the early days of filmmaking, movie and film studios enjoyed a massive competitive advantage over the aspiring independent filmmaker. These studios controlled nearly every single aspect of filmmaking and distribution, from owning all of their own equipment to controlling the big-name movie stars to owning the very theaters these films were presented in. For the aspiring independent filmmaker, the barrier entry costs were indeed great and often extremely restrictive in getting their movies not only produced, but also in a venue for public consumption. The movie studios at this time enjoyed total support from the government for use in deriving public support for the war. But at its conclusion of the war, the studios were forced to sell off all of their theaters. No longer did the movie studios enjoy a government-sponsored monopoly. While this eased the restriction a tad, filmmakers still either had to know someone in the industry or be connected with a studio in order to have their films produced and distributed. Even as great directors like Roger Corman began to school a group of young independent filmmakers, the barrier to getting your film seen in the theaters that have now been taken over by large corporations still proved to be difficult. Over the next few decades, the cost of camera equipment continued to decrease and became more affordable and available to the average person. With a proliferation of computer sales, camcorders, and video editing software for desktop computers, independent filmmakers inch closer to having the opportunity to distribute their films without boundaries. On January 9, 2001, Apple introduced their new software called iTunes. While it did not cater to video customers at the time, little did we know as independent filmmakers that the seed was planted. In 2003, Apple provided the feature of the iTunes Store where users could purchase music tracks at the time. 2 short years later, Apple included video playback in their portable devices and began offering videos for purchase and rentals. During that same year, Google launched an online video service that allowed anyone with a video camera, editing software, and a story to tell to share their works of art with the entire world for free. YouTube would become the de facto site for video producers everywhere to share some of their amazing and not so amazing stories. The point to take away from this is filmmakers everywhere were no longer restricted to having to be under the traditional film studio umbrella in order to get their stories viewed. When looking towards the future, as camera costs continue to come down in price and rise in quality and resolution, some even on mobile phone devices, the independent filmmaker now has more opportunities at their distribution disposal than had ever been dreamed of back when the studios ruled with an iron fist. The fact that you are watching this podcast presentation now is proof of how far distribution has come as an industry, and the future will only provide more opportunities for distribution.